Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, what a great thing to see these faces. Sarah, Ellen, Elizabeth, Elena, Holly, Wade, Cal, Joanne, Chris, Joan, Elliot, and more coming in the room. So I know for sure most of you or many of you have been in this mindful poetry space before, but I'm just going to give a little tiny description of what's going to happen here so you have a little bit oriented, and then we're going to turn it over to Mauren and Finn for the main event. So I'm Stacy, we have Patrick, we have Bryce, we're from The Well, and we work at the intersection of arts and wellness, and we have virtual programs. We have programs in this space here in our beautiful Camp Washington, Cincinnati locale, and then we collaborate with different partners locally, nationally, and if we're lucky, internationally. Mindful poetry started out as content for children, remains content for children in April, combining contemplative practices, poems, and an opportunity to write. But then during the pandemic, we started gathering as a virtual group, and that was so incredibly needed and nourishing that we just kept on it. So what we've done, and so in April is sort of where we really ramp up. We have curated poems, and in these kind of off months, we invite people from our community who have been coming to these poetry gatherings or who we've gotten to know through different avenues to pick the poems they love and to present and share their wisdom and their prompts. So that's what's going to happen over the next several months until we hit April. So the format is simple. We're going to get a grounding meditation. There's going to be a poem we're going to celebrate, and then we're going to get some wisdom about the poem, a prompt. We'll each have writing time, and then we'll come back together and share what we've written if you choose, and then get another reading of the poem. And then by 4 o'clock, we're filled and nourished and remembering humanity, kindness, love, long journeys, and hope. All things that we sorely need in these complex times. So today we have Finn Menzies, who is a new friend of ours who reached out, and we love all the same things, including this poem, which was selected by Mauren P. Medina, who is a wonderful friend of ours, a poet, a healer who's just amazing. We're going to send you after this gathering more information about each of them so you can be connected. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Finn.
Hi, y'all. So before we read the poem and celebrate the poem, I'm going to lead us in a visualization to ground us. And I think what I want to say is that this is similar to a body scan, but it's a little bit more poetic and abstract. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just let the words that I'm saying float around you like autumn leaves, and they'll land where they land. Okay. So I like to do it with one hand on my heart space and one hand over my belly, just to center. And you can close your eyes or keep them open, however you feel comfortable. And before I start scanning through our body, I just wanted to offer two questions that can just marinate while we're grounding. How does your body know it belongs here on Earth? And or how does your body know it belongs to you? Okay, here we go. We are Earth. More than half of our bodies is made of water. Imagine your fluidity. Imagine all the tears you've shed, the sweat you've poured through your hard labor. Imagine the blood inside you traveling like rivers, tributaries. We are water. Wind. Feel the oxygen in your lungs. Feel your breath nourishing the trees. Feel the movement in your hair, the movement of your voice resonating out. We are wind. Fire. Right now, your neurons are firing in your brain with electrical charges. Your mind ignites your muscles to move. Notice the heat of your body, like fire, offering its warmth to anyone who's close to you. We are fire. Earth. Feel or imagine the red of the iron in your blood, the calcium of your bones, the sodium of your sweat. We are earth. We literally consume the earth for food. Then we grow from the ground up like a flower. So feel your feet grow roots through the soil and let the crown of your head be beckoned by the stars. We are earth. And then when you're ready, you can feel those feet, your center, your spine, your crown here in space, and sort of orient back to the screen. And I'm going to hand it over to Mauren to introduce the poem.
Thank you so much, Finn. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you to the well for all that have nurtured this space and that continue to expand it and find different ways to maintain this safe haven. That's definitely how I see the well, and I'm so grateful to be here and share and hold space with all of you. So today we will be reflecting on the piece called Someday I Will Love Ocean Vuong by Ocean Vuong. And the meditation that Finn just led us through really explored this interconnectedness of life and how we relate to ourselves and each other and the world around. But I wanted to bring it in to an individual level, because I think that when we develop or come to understand self-love, then it makes collective love and healing more attainable. So that's one of the many reasons I chose this very beautiful piece. Ocean is such a brilliant artist, and he displays so much compassion for himself and everyone who had their hand in teaching him about love. And this piece explores so much. But today, I will invite you to focus on the self-love, the pursuit of love within that poem. So Ocean Vuong was born in Vietnam and raised in the US, and he's written very gorgeous collection. One is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, another Time is a Mother, and Night Sky with Exit Wounds. which is the collection that holds this piece. His work often explores war, political and internal war, generational and cultural trauma, queerness, family dynamics, and the immigrant experience. And through it all, he displays this resilience and desire to live a full, unapologetic life. And something that resonates with me is in his voice, there's just, it's like so tender, and yet it's like it's tender but unrelenting, and that's something that's so beautiful. And so I thought I would share. um let's see. And so again, I chose this piece to focus on self-love because it does start with an affirmation. The title itself, "Someday You Will Love Ocean Vuong." It's an assurance of self-love, and it's not just an emotion, it's an active choice, a practice that we need to honor and hone and commit to. And I guess we're ready to share, Finn. When you're ready to read this piece, I invited Finn to read this piece as an extension of the beautiful meditation. So Bryce, when you're ready, please.
Oh, that's helpful. Thank you. Okay. Someday I'll love Ocean Vuong. Ocean, don't be afraid. The end of the road is so far ahead, it is already behind us. Don't worry. Your father is only your father until one of you forgets. Like how the spine won't remember its wings, no matter how many times our knees kiss the pavement. Ocean, are you listening? The most beautiful part of your body is wherever your mother's shadow falls. Here's the house with childhood, whittled down to a single red tripwire. Don't worry, just call it horizon, and you'll never reach it. Here's today. Jump. I promise it's not a lifeboat. Here's the man whose arms are wide enough to gather your leaving, and here the moment just after the lights go out, when you can still see the faint torch between his legs. How you use it again and again to find your own hands. You asked for a second chance and are given a mouth to empty out of. Don't be afraid. The gunfire is only the sound of people trying to live a little longer and failing. Ocean, ocean, get up. The most beautiful part of your body is where it's headed. And remember, loneliness is still time spent with the world. Here's the room with everyone in it. Your dead friends passing through you like wind, through you like wind through a wind chime. Here's a desk with a gimp leg and a brick to make it last. Yes, here's a room so warm and blood close, I swear you will wake and mistake these walls for your skin.
So I first heard this question from a mental health provider in New York named Uzma Chowdhury. I invite you to write in the chat, or if you can even raise your hand using the reaction button, to share briefly, what is your first memory of love? Give me one line, two. And the reaction button is on the bottom right. Okay. This says my mom. Wade says Liesel von Trapp. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Holly says my thumb. Ellen said my mother holding my hand and walking me to a young girl's house. Kirsten said my pet bird. Calcaño, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I didn't. Garlic and onions on the stove. Then my mother let me twist her wet hair out of the bath for hours at a time. Seeing a jack in the pulpit, flower in the woods with my sister. From Elizabeth. Elena, food was the language of love in my family. Stacy said when my parents would tickle my arm. Give another moment or so if any other associations or first memories of love pop up in the chat. Okay, and so also in the chat, whether you shared or not, I invite you to just reflect on and then share in the chat if you'd like. When you're thinking about the first memory of love, where you feel that in your body, or if your body shifted when this memory came to mind. Elena, my gut, stomach. I feel it in my chest. I asked that when I invited you earlier to reflect on your first memory of love, to think about where you felt that in your body. My hand, a release in my chest, chills down the spine, throat, fullness in the chest. Just give another moment in case I feel it in my face, like palms holding my cheeks. Okay. And you can share in the chat a yes or no if you like, or you can just reflect on this. Do you still recognize that feeling or that association with love? Do you still recognize that as love in the present of who you are? This is more an inward thing, but feel free to share in the chat if you'd like. Yes, it has gotten stronger with time. Absolutely, it was a piece of me becoming me. It's complicated, but at the base level, yes, yes. Starts with physical touch that travels inward. Okay, I'll just give another moment in case anyone else would like to share. Food is now equated with grief. Okay. I'm on a path on understanding how to let my love mature and also feel the unconditional love as a child. I don't know, like tomato roots. Okay, so First of all, thank you so much for sharing, and I invite you to check in with yourselves, make sure that you're okay and your mind and body are okay, and throughout today's event. So, our impression of love is external and also internal, right? It's nurture and nature, and ultimately like what we respond to, how we receive that, I guess, informs the feeling of being loved or loving. And how does that inform our self-love in theory and in practice, in our daily lives, in actions big and small? So someday I will love Ocean Vuong in this piece. I would refer to it as the piece because it's quite a mouthy title, right? But Ocean is able, to reconcile many factors, some of which are painful, that shaped who he is with his desire to love himself. And, he maneuvers complex family relationships, sexual identity, childhood memories, violence, and death with this full intention of loving himself and his own skin. And it's like a story, and it just progresses. It like starts with this, like affirmation. Basically, it's like he sets the intention, and but not also, it's not like a toxic love or toxic positivity. He takes the time to acknowledge major influences in each stanza without identifying them as good or bad, just as other parts of his life, moving parts that are also trying to survive, that also contributed to his survival. And so there's very powerful imagery and metaphors that he employs, very beautiful. And he uses the imperative voice, a command, firmly but also gentle, and these are also curious. And so that's I guess the poetic device that we'll be reflecting on today in our writing, is because using this voice, he is able to reflect on the tragedies that those before him have experienced, that he has experienced, and turn it into like this guide to self-love, to find himself. And so, he says, don't be afraid, don't worry, jump, get up. And so these are firm, these are commands, this is the imperative voice. And yet it is a command, but more so like invitations. And so the writing prompt today is going to have like a few layers here. So first, I invite you to take whatever tool you are planning to write with and just write down, not in the chat, for yourself, the beginning of the title, "Someday I Will Love," and then add your name, whatever name that you identify with and respond to. So let's just start with that. Writing down, "Someday I Will Love," then add your full name that you identify with. And if you are able and feel comfortable, I invite you to read it to yourself, the full title with your name in there. Read it to yourself silently, and then also out loud. And just notice how your body responds without any judgment. Just notice if there are any shifts in your body as you wrote, read, and heard this. So, as I mentioned, in different stanzas, well, well, the stanzas, they're not really stanzas in this piece, but uh, Ocean outlines the different influences in his life that inform who he is and also his love. And so my invitation will be twofold. I invite you to affirm yourself and your experiences like Ocean does in this piece using the imperative voice. A threefold. One, affirm yourself. That's the title, right, that you just wrote. And then addressing yourself by name throughout the poem as Ocean does. And as you're using the imperative voice and creating this guide to self-love, I invite you to incorporate 1 to 3 major factors or influences that have informed your love or your idea of love. So that can be your identity, different identities, passion, a major conflict or memory, a major healing, a relationship, whatever comes to mind. So that is the prompt, is to write in the imperative voice and while incorporating 1 to 3 major influences that have informed your self-love.
I'll time us. Bryce already put the prompts in the chat, and we'll also put the poem in the chat and on the screen.
Thank you, Bryce.
All right, we will be back in 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you so much for participating. Now is the time to share. So just please check in with yourself as you're witnessing each other. And if you'd like to share what you have written or any of your reflections, please raise your hand using the reaction button on the bottom right. Ellen.
Hi. Do you want me just to go ahead? Full disclosure, I've actually read or written a full poem after this poem, so I had to obviously go in a completely different direction. So I did. Ellen, run your hand over your body. You are a survivor. The scar that runs from sternum to pubis, your stitched together core, is just one proof. Ellen, you are still here. Your mother once said you would never make it to 30, and you have spun around that planet 2 times. The shadow you've carried with you now holds a pen in your hand. Even when your thumbs have come out of joint, your words anoint a new life. Ellen, walk through your fear. Remember the prayer you once sang from the front of the stage. You eschew religion, but the spirit still moves you to recite its lines. That's as far as I got.
Oh, thank you, Ellen. That was quite far. How did that feel?
It's actually very freeing for me to write about this particular, because I don't know, I guess we all have our struggles, but self-love is one of mine. So it feels good to write about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Wade, when you're ready.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, this is called Someday I Will Love. Someday I will love Wade, that love that sticks in the throat like a cough or a bone or a secret so finely rooted that it barks out of the body in a gout of dark blood. Sometime I will love Wade as Estragon loves Vladimir, selfish and turned in, yet timeless love. Wade will sometimes love as Chopin and sunrise, a celebration of longing as much absence as presence. Wade will at times love his own distance, safely held, private and contemptuous, passing time in secret society. Wade, do not wait for tomorrow. After all, only practice makes perfect.
Thank you, Wade. Very rich. I don't, Bryce, Patrick, and or Stacy.
I'll start. Someday I will love Stacy Sims. Stacy, don't stop being brave. All those times you spent alone, bareback on a horse, galloping through the woods, it's the same now. Sometimes less wind, most times less danger, but brave and exhilarating. Don't forget that at the end of the ride, someone awaits you. Maybe it's just 2 ill-mannered dogs, or your loyal friends, or your now healing, unfractured family. And Stacy, rest. It's okay. Let someone tickle your arm, groom your mane, curry comb your coat. Let someone take some of the weight to help you on your journey. Stacy, you are loved. Let it be so.
Thank you. Let it be so for Stacy and for all of us here. Kirsten.
Hi. So, someday I will love KG, who is a daughter of God, a woman of earth, and a survivor, losing her way through anxiety, through depression, and the cruelty of nightmares from her past. She has walked through red flames and turned into gold. KG is someone who steps on the highest clouds to touch the furthest stars as she lives, has lived, and will live another day, to see herself and who she admires. Not a torn geranium in a forgotten garden somewhere, but a white rose floating in a calm ocean, free from despair. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. You really transformed the flowers and the natural elements. Thank you so much. There's still time to share if you'd like to raise your hand. Elena, when you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. This is super rough because I just wrote it now and I wasn't very quick. So here you go. Someday I will love Elena Estella. When I say it aloud, my voice falters. Elena grew up given food instead of words. Childhood was a silent movie. Everyone marveled how my mother ironed the roasted ham to get crispy bits. In winter, 3-year-old Elena received a steaming roast pork bun instead of a hug. Fussing was calmed by Coca-Cola in the bottle. Elena lost her mom at 5 years old. It was a sense of falling in a bottomless well. Suddenly the step came in and denied me love. A salt, sugar-free diet ensued. Elena lost the only love she knew. Finding love became spiritual. She is still on that path. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena, for that. It's very beautiful. I also just want to mention the storytelling was beautiful and the conclusion, it's not over and there's more. So thank you. Holly.
Thank you, everyone. Beautiful work so far. I can't wait to hear more. Someday I will love Holly Joe Bryan's Ragusa. Holly Joe, stop hiding. On the bus, in bed, on the page, and in your dreams. A world waits for you and your middle name, and even your high-maintenance, non-hyphenated last name, along with all the other complexities you'll bring to this living. Parents rarely are who you'll want them to be, and sometimes more than you'll know you need. Fear not the sour divisions of love and loyalty, Holly. Those slices will sweeten after you've had your way with those lemons. Steer clear of hate. That foul friend won't be with you when the storm comes, won't stay to clean up after the tempest fades. Seek life in all those lost. Dance with the memories of your demons and death. Dads and fathers and mothers and others and all the ones that led you to your one that sweeps up his mess and yours. Here with his brush and yours, Holly, paint a nest you can recreate and reimagine as your creativity demands.
Thank you. Incredible what you have so far created in like 10 minutes. The imagery, the awareness, not just the self-awareness, but really observing the details around you and the life around you. Wow. Bryce or Patrick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Someday I will love Bryce. Bryce, come closer and listen. Do not be afraid of yourself. You have come so far that now you cannot even see where you started. But looking back isn't that simple. Look at the way the road winds, curving around risk, taking detours, a shortcut through a dark cave. The path you took is impossible to retrace because you made it up. Unique, new, nothing can compare. Bryce, do not compare. And I'll keep working on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce. Love what you did with the unknown, right? And really made it something more concrete, something to like you identified it. Thank you. Finn, you raised, okay.
Someday I'll love Finn Menzies. Someday I'll love Finn Menzies. Finn, you chose your own name, but your mother chose to let her body become unendingly open. Finn, your father let poems fall into your eyes like dropping a handful of pennies. That's how he knew his heart to yours. Finn, the most beautiful part of you is your insistence on returning. Yes, there is a long river of loves you left behind you so that you could live. Let this river forgive you. You can still be baptized in its waters. Finn, the most beautiful part of you is your insistence on becoming. Someday your becoming and your return will touch in the same place.
It was like you led us through another visualization. Beautiful incorporation of the elements. Thank you. I think we still have time for at least one more person to share. Oh, sorry. Okay. Patrick.
Sure. Can you hear me? Cool. Okay. I think I departed a bit from the prompt, but maybe came back around to it. You wanted to swallow a sore lump in your throat, learning your father would read the story instead of your mother. Heat rising from your neck to your nose and to your eyes, all imperative, commanding tears to rug. You want to feel the drag. You want to feel the touch of that skin, finger tracing chest till you could feel the wires of a heart monitor hanging pothos beneath your shirt. You wish to clutch it shut again. You want to hear that again. I know that voice in your ear telling your nerves to jump and breathe and beat and to run. The song that would sing unsung until your voice undoes the yoke. If you had 1/10 of what you felt back then, you could fit the whole planet in your heart.
I think I speak for us all when I say Stacy's hand movement was a collective reaction. Just kidding, but thank you, Patrick. That was so glad you departed a bit and resulted in that magic.
So, wow, I just love these hours so much. We're gonna do I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping before we come to the last reading of the poem, which will be a real treat for us. So our next gathering is in a month with Elena Estella Green, our beloved Elena Estella Green. So that'll be another beautiful hour that we look forward to. You'll get an email after this event that will give you a way to connect to Finn. And also, so Finn is in Seattle area. Maureen, we'll also share Maureen's website. Maureen is in Portugal. We have, folks from all over here, and both Finn and Maureen hold space and community for poetry and creativity. And so I hope you will follow them and find them. I think that's all I want to say for now. Besides, thank you to Finn and Maureen for a really gorgeous, gorgeous day. And thank you all for being so incredibly open and vulnerable, just really gorgeous. So we have, thanks to the world of virtual content, we're going to close out with Someday I'll Love Ocean Vuong by Ocean Vuong, read by Ocean Vuong. So after we watch this video, we'll be saying goodbye to each other.
Someday, I'll love Ocean Vuong. Ocean, don't be afraid. The end of the road is so far ahead. It is already behind us. Don't worry. Your father is only your father until one of you forgets. Like how the spine won't remember its wings, no matter how many times our knees kiss the pavement. Ocean, are you listening? The most beautiful part of your body is wherever your mother's shadow falls. Here's the house with childhood whittled down to a single red tripwire. Don't worry. Just call it horizon, and you'll never reach it. Here's today. Jump. I promise it's not a lifeboat. Here's the man whose arms are wide enough to gather your leaving. And hear the moment just after the lights go out, when you can still see the faint torch between his legs. How you use it again and again to find your own hands. You asked for a second chance and are given a mouth to empty out of. Don't be afraid. The gunfire is only the sound of people trying to live a little longer and failing. Ocean, ocean, get up. The most beautiful part of your body is wherever it's headed. And remember, loneliness is still time spent with the world. Here's the room with everyone in it. Your dead friends passing through you like wind through a wind chime. Here's the desk with the gimp leg and a brick to make it last. Yes, here's a room so warm and blood close. I swear you will wake and mistake these walls for skin.
Speechless. Filled with gratitude. So much love for all of you and our capacity to continue to return to one another in all times, but in particularly these times of need. Love. Be connected. We'll see you all next month.